promise you, the mustache on the officer in today's video has at least 24 hours of post-certification. Hi everybody, welcome to today's bonus badge cam lesson here at Active Self Protection. Your host as always, John Correa. With me, your favorite former federal agent, Mike Welliver.
Today's video comes to us from Louisville, Kentucky.
LuckyGunner.com works hard to stock ammo to ship today and take care of their customers. They've stood by us all in this ammo crisis and earned my business time and time again. They ship immediately, often same day, so give them your next ammo order. Police have been called here because a man has actually shot a couple of women in an attempted carjacking, according to the news story that I've linked in the description. Officers are trying to chase him down. The officer whose badge cam that we see right now is the secondary officer. The officer in the car to the right is going to become Officer Leroy Jenkins. Hang in there, everybody.
Black hoodie, close safe hand. There he is. There he is right there. Stop, police! Get on the ground. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. Drop the gun. He got a gun. He's got a gun. I got it. I got it.
No matches found. Please speak again.
There he is. I got him. I got it. I got it. Dude! This is my time. Kill me, please. I'm just keeping it down. I'm keeping it down. Kill me, please. I got the slide. Kill me, officer. I got the slide. We got one fighting. He got a gun. He's trying to kill me. Go on now. We got the gun away from him. Gotta take him into custody. Turn me around. Turn me around. Oh, please. Mike? Talk, bro. Give me your hand. I'm giving you my hand. Take this from me. Well, don't touch it. Just, we're good.
You want to switch? Switch me.
Here, I got both his hands. I can't cuff him both.
Okay. We're David. I'm out here with a standby. We're trying to have him now.
Somebody got gloves. There we go. Okay, got this. Put your hand away, dude.
They took this guy into custody. He was a felon in possession. They haven't charged him, as far as I can see, with the shooting of the other two women yet, but even so, he is facing a cornucopia of charges already.
John, would you say that he's facing a plethora of charges?
Indeed, I would say a plethora of charges. Okay, I know you've been asking for it. I promise you can now find the Active Self Protection podcast. Mike, where are you going to go find it?
You're going to find it on the ASP website. For now, we'll be up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the other ones soon. There's a special page for the podcast. Go to asp.com and you'll find it.
There it is. So first of all, as these officers are getting going, chasing a guy that they know has shot someone. So this is not the time to think about, gosh, are my firearm skills up to this if I have to have it on that day? You want to know that your skill set is strong and ready to go. Grip is the master, sight set the pace, trigger is the servant if you need it. And again, thinking through in your mind, I'm chasing this guy down. What am I going to do here? I think mental preparation is key.
These two officers did a phenomenal job. The officer that drove up, Leroy Jenkins, he was thinking about this before he got there. He was not out of control. He wasn't freaking out when he arrived on the scene. He was calm, collected, and did what he had to do very quickly.
And I think that kind of pre-planning, I've got him, I know. So we talk about controlling our state of arousal, right? Controlling how much adrenaline do I have running through my system. Very important. Do that with your combat breathing. Prepare yourself as you have that time so that you're not, all jacked up on Mountain Dew when the moment happens. And I think both these officers did a very good job of that. Sees the guy, gets his gun out here as he closes on him. Now let's talk about why he chose not to press the trigger, because you can see right here as we zoom in, the guy does have a gun in his left hand. He does not have that gun up, and I think it is absolutely exemplary of this first officer that given all the circumstances, had he said drop the gun, didn't see it drop, and shot that guy 2-3 times, I think that we would have said, hey, that's, he made his bed and so he gets to lie in it. But the fact that he didn't, I think, was excellent control.
I can't get inside the officer's head, but I would venture to say that distance and backstop also had something to do with his decision not to shoot. If the gun's down at his side, listen, he's justified right now. This guy's already shot 2 people. He's not listening to commands. He's actively evading them. The way the law reads is, if this person is either actively hurting someone, maiming them, trying to kill them, or has just done that and is now escaping, you can use deadly force to stop them. They could have shot him in the back at this point if they absolutely had to.
But I do think that there's a difference here between can I, should I,
Right.
and must I. And because he didn't get to must, the officer didn't. I actually think that that's quite exemplary, and I think he should be commended for that. So now as he gets in on the guy, you notice here, guy is pointing with his right hand, and the gun is in his left hand, though, and down. And now he's got to start to deal with the fact that, hey, Leroy Jenkins, my partner here, has decided he has a course of action, so can I safely use my firearm at this point?
This is the point at which Leroy Jenkins transitioned into Lawrence Taylor.
Terry Tate, office linebacker,
Yeah.
shows up at this particular point. And again, I think that had this officer shot this guy as this guy's pointing around, bringing the gun up, those kinds of things, wouldn't have had any problems with it. But I think that obviously this officer taking the huge risk of coming in and making the tackle saves this guy's life and should be commended.
I'm not going to criticize him for this. I wouldn't have done this personally. I would have kept my distance and probably drawn my gun. But this officer was dedicated to trying to not injure this guy for whatever reason.
And that, friend, is good technique.
And by the way, you told me recently that you realized at one point you become the John Madden of on-camera violence. I mean,
Yes,
this
sir.
is really your moment, isn't it?
This is really it. I mean, again, really fantastic technique. And also, I think here, he uses some significant physical violence.
Absolutely. This guy, I mean, he went down hard. I guarantee you this guy played football or rugby.
And so, listen, sometimes you say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to use deadly force. I don't feel like I have to use deadly force, but I need to get this guy down right now. And especially a guy this size, we talk about, some of my other police officer friends like Greg Elefritz, who's a big monster of a man, coming in and a good firm tackle like this, an absolute Legion of Boom level, drop a bomb on a guy, will change his behavior and keep you from having to shoot a guy sometimes.
As a 49ers fan, I'm shocked to hear you make an LOB reference.
Well, hey, they did something right at one point, again, Pete Carroll, the heck with him, but everything else from that, they're pretty good dudes. So, listen, makes the great tackle and saves this guy's life. Now they're going to get in on him here, and they still got to take the gun away from him at that point. You heard him say, officer, please kill me, please kill me, please kill me. He wanted to die by suicide, and thankfully the officers weren't willing to do that. They instead pinned that gun to him and helped him. Now, I do think here, let's watch what goes down as it kind of slows up here. Watch what goes down. I want to see how dangerous this was, because our officer who's coming in slow-mo, you can see, watch the gun come up in his hand in that last moment. So he decides in this second here that he's going to actually bring the gun up. But at this point, the officer is committed to his course of action.
Not all special pants wearers have to be in a shootout necessarily. This guy, unbelievable, the discernment, to be able to see what he's seeing, running at full speed. The gun's in the hand away from him. His perception was spot on. He ate his Wheaties that morning.
Well, and again, at some point you're committed to your course of action. And at this point, because he's moving forward so hard, and now if the officer was standing still at this kind of distance, he might have wanted to back away, get his gun out, go for those kinds of things. But he had decided in that moment, nope, this guy's running away from me. I'm going to chase him down. I'm tackling this guy and taking him into custody. And that's exactly what he does here. So he's going to get after him super hard. Now, a couple of technique things here I think are worth mentioning once they get him down. You see him tackle him, worried about the gun, controls the gun, dominates that, and then watch his fellow officer come in and get that crossface on him. I think the crossface here was an excellent technique.
One of my favorites. Just great technique all the way around, John.
I really think that again, once you control somebody's nose and their head, you are going to control the rest of them. They're not going anywhere else other than the direction that you send them, and they lose all their strength. When you misalign their spine like that, you lose all their strength. And so this is an excellent technique in order to get the gun away from him and those kinds of things. Now, I also think that these officers do an exemplary job. You can hear the guy again saying, officers, kill me, kill me, kill me. And he's still trying to get the gun out to make them do that, but they don't do that. And I think here, one last kind of thing that I really want to talk about here, Mike, is the fact that he's got the gun away from him at this point. So he's going to spend a minute trying to figure out, okay, I got to get this gun away from him. Now I got to safe it. I got to, clear it, which he does. But now he's going to really think about, what do I do with this gun? And quite frankly, I get it. You don't want to like send a weapon off into the wild blue yonder, but I think he's probably safe at this point it's clear, dump it somewhere else so I get both hands back on this guy.
Yeah, in this position, and again, not second guessing this officer, but he probably could have just chucked it behind him to the left a little bit. It would have been against the house. Unlikely that a small child is going to walk by in that moment in the middle of this chaos and
With the
pick it
Glock
up.
magazine.
Yeah, and it's safe. Yeah, for sure. Try to get rid of it. Get it out of the way. Get this guy in custody first, then we worry about the gun.
So if you can, and it's a difficult thing to do though, right? So in the moment you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to send this off into a place that could hurt me. I don't want to send it off into a place that somebody else who might be his perp in an unsecured area could pick it up and use it against one of us. But I do think we want to say, your big number one priority here, you need to get this guy into custody, get him in some cuffs so that he's less of a threat to you, and so get that gun out of your hand if you're not going to use it and beat him over the head with it.
For sure.
I will say as well, I think these officers did a fine job of communicating with each other. I think that they did a good job of getting this guy into custody, of working together as a team. And then again, this guy's going to face a bunch of charges, but he's not dead that day, and I think that's the biggest thing. Now, notice as well, you're going to see them here. You just saw a little glimpse of it. They got the 100-round Glock drum off this guy.
That is the most stupid, unwieldy thing in the world. I mean, it's fun for the range or whatever, but it makes the gun more difficult to shoot. I'm glad he couldn't operate it properly.
Yeah, no kidding. And again, I think these officers did a pretty darn fine job of using way less force than they could have. I wouldn't have blamed them one bit had they used more, but I think they definitely should be commended for getting this guy in custody.
John, I think you and I discussed this earlier. I think the minute we laid eyes on this man's epic mustache, we knew he would prevail.